Hi guys, Martin Curry from Belief Media. I'm going to walk and talk you through just a couple of elements of a landing page. This is a screen recording of a screen recording, so I'm just playing this on my phone and talking over the top of it. It is by no means a tutorial. It's by no means meant to be overly educational. It's just meant to show the simplicity involved in a couple of elements on the landing page. In the critiques and reviews of ads that I've done over the last couple of weeks, I've mentioned a few times how to minimize the content towards the top and the bottom of a page and ensure you have a floating header or footer in order to provide basic navigation functionality. I'm also going to show you exactly why those elements are required. It's a brief introduction, but I'm going to introduce you to the mechanism we use to assess how users interact with these pages and how we came to the very clear determination, that the assets in question are required. Now, first and foremost, I'm just scrolling in on the page here. This is just a WordPress dashboard. Our menu elements are off to the left-hand side. This is shipped with our basic plugin. In fact, that's what our plugin looks like when it's shipped. This is the back end, so the different types of modules that are available to all those that use the product. Now, landing pages is interesting. There are two categories of landing pages. In fact, there are three in total, because Elementor itself ships a landing page feature, but we use two other post types. One's called BMLP, which is the only one that's visible in the dashboard. That's Belief Media landing pages, and they're manually created. We just provide a wireframe, if you like, and you go in and drag and drop different elements onto the page in order to build a functional experience. And there's also Belief Media landing pages. The title is kind of irrelevant because you can't see them, and they're hosted on the back end of the system because the pages there are submitted automatically via Yabba. Now, we have found that the manual creation of pages is often more appropriate. Now, I've got just a really simple landing page demo here, and I can show it to you because it's not one of our mortgage clients. So it's not someone that we would normally protect with the NDA, although we're not going to disclose the specific individuals, but the company is visible in some of these pages, so that doesn't really concern us. Now, in most cases, for all our landing pages, once a user submits a form of any type, there are three different pages we may redirect to. One is based on a calendar booking, the other is based on providing just a phone number, and the other is for email subscribers. Remember, a funnel is a digital handshake and continuation of the funnel. So the second page, which I've said over and over is God's gift to marketers, is it starts to become a conversation. So the funnel becomes a back and forth. The user engages with something or actions something, and we respond in kind. So our response is conditional based on their input. So if they, and the conditional redirect is a great example, because they'll engage with the form, they'll click on the submit button, and based on the content in the form, we're going to send them in a specific direction. And that kind of behavior repeats itself all over the website we use. Now, not all clients really engage with the higher level functionality and features of the site, but certainly for all our managed guys, we always religiously employ those basic features. So let's bounce through this. So the point of mentioning, by the way, those conditional redirects is, I said there's normally three redirects. The form that is used on this landing page is actually a non-conforming business form. Funnily enough, I provided an example of that form just 2 or 3 days ago. So the non-conforming business finance, this is up to 500K, secure on a property up to sort of $1 million and $2 million in some cases. It's a good product. You all know it. But in the case of the redirects, there's two standard redirects for the non-conforming business form, and that is, does the borrower have an ABN or don't they have an ABN? If they don't have an ABN, it leans on equity and property and things like that. You know how it works. So, all right, let's continue with this. Again, I just recorded this on my PC and just dumped a video into Microsoft Teams and then downloaded it to my phone. I was going to use it for something else, just a small snippet of it for something else. But I thought this is a good opportunity to show you how one of these basic features work. Again, it's not a tutorial, despite the fact that I will be sort of showing you very specifics here. A lot of menus, a lot of features, most comprehensive broker website in the industry. There's no question about that. Hundreds of pages, actually millions of pages, if you consider all the back-end features and functionality. Okay, what are we looking to achieve? All right, here's a really basic landing page, right? Really basic landing page. There's kind of nothing here. I think I refreshed the page here from memory. Let's see. Okay, all I'm going to show you is how to include that sticky bar across the top, which has home, contact, appointment, and phone number, and the sticky bar down the bottom. So this page is in no way complete and no way functional. You would have a lot of content below the form. You'd have different text above. It's just an example. This was the wireframe, and I dumped a form in there. And the wireframe includes the header and the footer. I think I do an example here. I run an example with mobile responsiveness. All right, what we're looking at, right? To build this header, you can see there's two rows across the top. One of them has a company name. It's a grey bar with black text, and then there's the black bar across the top with white text, which has the 4 icons and 4 links. Now, you're always going to have the second bar, the bar in black on landing pages. The top bar only applies for those cases where we're viewing on a mobile device, because that third element with the logo and the 2 buttons will be removed on landing pages, because I think it's important to understand the purpose of a landing page. And this is lost. Honestly, I think the definition has become convoluted as the popularity has grown. We've kind of forgotten what they're meant to do. And the purpose is simple, and it's to convert clients. It's to, create a conversion. It's the conduit between your consumer and your business. So it has to be effective, it has to be good, and it has to be compelling and engaging, and all those sorts of things I talk about all the time. It has to provide the necessary fluidity so someone slips through the experience very easily. The forms have to work, the buttons have to work, everything should be functional, it should present professionally, lots of white space, simplicity. You don't want to crowd it with text. Absolutely do not crowd a landing page with text. There used to be a page that developed in the maybe 90s, and it was called a squeeze page. It was very much a sales page, but the idea was to squeeze the name and email out of a consumer. Now, thankfully, we never ever built squeeze pages, by the way. We've always built landing pages, and it's why they've always performed well, because we've always gained the trust of those consumers we've put this page in front of. You don't go to Commonwealth Bank and they don't throw 1,000 reasons at you as to why you should be subscribing to their particular experience, because they're the Commonwealth Bank, right? Maybe a bad example. So we do see a lot of landing pages with enormous amounts of text. People put in about section, why this company, why that company, about Joe blogs and all that sort of stuff. And that sort of stuff is entirely irrelevant at the landing page level. Remember, you've paid an enormous amount in order to get this lead onto your page. So it's really important that we convert them, right? And the guff dilutes the experience. Right? It draws attention away from its primary purpose. So all of a sudden it becomes more of a web page. And you're asking yourself now, what's the difference between a web page and a landing page? The landing page is minimalistic. We're not looking to showcase an enormous amount of information and educate consumers and whatever else. It's just providing a facility, right? Whilst the web pages themselves are generally focused around providing an education. That said, and it's important to say that every single page on your website is a potential organic entry point from anywhere. So every page on your website is a type of landing page that needs to convert. No self-respecting marketer or marketing agency or digital guy or anybody that puts a subscription on your website or sets up your Facebook ads will dare allow that experience to go live without optimizing your website, because you're already getting traffic to your website. So if you're getting 100 views a week, and the finance industry converts at 0.1%, right? 0.1%, which is crazy low, right? Our pages have the capacity, when promoted properly, to convert at about 7 or 8%, which is infinitely higher. Now, the point there is you have to have the traffic to your website, right? You don't get any traffic, you don't get any conversions. So out of the box, our website does really well because it converts on every page, and it does that by providing the facility. Having a contact button isn't enough, right? Any action or keystroke or anything you ask of anybody just decreases conversions. It decreases the interest that individual has in your experience. There's so much that can be said about all of that, but I'm kind of just going to brush over it and continue with what's on the screen. So there are those two bars up the top, Business Finance Australia. That's actually in black. The reason it's dulled, right, is because it's not meant to be shown on a desktop. So in Elementor, when you what have I done there? Because I've got this on a thingamajiggy, my phone, every time I touch it, I end up hitting the scrubber bar. So that bar across the top, it's hidden on desktops. Now, how do we hide it on desktops? And I think that's what I'm showing you here. Yeah, I am. Okay, so you click on that element, you select advanced, go to responsive, and hide it on tablets and mobile portrait. Which element am I looking at? Just making sure that that's right. Yeah, that's the one. All right, so if we continue on, now I'm going to click on the black bar here, which is what I've clicked on initially. Here we go. I'm going to click on the black bar. The black bar will show on desktop and mobile. This is just for a landing page. There are two different types of headers we use on the website. One is for a landing page, one is for the website, because they're entirely different. The logo and the buttons effectively remain the same, but in the primary header, you'll have a menu. You have the links to all rate data and the current cash rate and the exchange rate and all those sorts of things across the top, links towards your partner portal and your client login and all that sort of stuff across the top. So the standard website header is quite busy, whereas the landing page header is very minimalistic. Given that 90% of your traffic will come from mobile, I'll show you what the page looks like in a moment. I'm pretty sure I had a look at what it looked like. Anyway, that black bar, again, we don't want to show that on. We don't want to show that black bar on. In fact, on this particular page, I decided to show that is shipped by default with our plugin, and so all our clients, if they go to their landing page back in now, that black bar will be there, and it will show on all landing page, whether it's a mobile or desktop. But you do have the capacity to obviously remove it from your desktop view, and that's what I'm showing you here. So I think that's what I'm showing you. Yeah, there are those buttons there. But we also want it sticking towards the top of the page. So as the user scrolls down, we want that black bar to remain stuck towards the top of the page. And I've been highly critical of some of the experiences where, the header doesn't link and there's no means of directly contacting someone, clicking a button to phone someone, all that sort of stuff. And that is actioned via the advanced and motion effects menu. If you open up that accordion, there's a sticky option there, and we set that to top, right? That will stick that element to the top. Now, keeping in mind there is a function within our website, we call it a broadcast, and you can have a standard sticky element on your primary website. So you can have these on your website that show for a period of time or only show on certain pages and so on. We do that generally during when RBA rates are published and so on, and that will link to a blog post. But that's entirely irrelevant, really. So if you stick that to the top, and I think I'll show you what that does now. Let me just, crap, sorry guys. I'm really bad at doing this on my phone. It's just not working for me. Anyway, I'm just showing you there. You can make those various elements responsive or visible on different devices and stuff. There we go. That element stuck to the top. And here, hopefully, I scroll up and down just to show you how it remains sticky on that page. Yeah, here we go. Oh, there's the footer. Now, okay, I don't show you straight away. Now, the footer element, there are 4 buttons there. They are call us now, inquire online, request a callback, and visit website. Visit website is really important, especially down towards the footer. You've got the disclaimer. That's the basic comparison disclaimer that's there. That publishes on every page, whether you want it or not. And then the additional disclaimers are just tacked on to the end or the beginning. And that's generally automated. You've got the links to privacy terms disclaimer, and then the social disclaimer will automatically be created on that page. But it is kind of similar to the footer on your standard website. The exception, of course, with everything is, again, you've got a black bar down the bottom. Ignore the fact that it's quite wide. It doesn't look like that on a standard PC. It's just because the Elementor page builder expands it. And it says there, contact us and learn more. Fill out form. That text is obviously customizable. But on the standard footer, we use 3 links. Call us now, inquire online, and request a callback. So the landing page footer has an extra button there, and that's visit website. That's because the landing page itself generally doesn't provide many navigation options through the website. However, you don't just want to link someone back to the front page of your website. You want to link them somewhere that kind of escalates the experience or expands upon the purpose of the landing page that they visited. So now this is really important. Very complicated though. That link is, so that website link is determined by the campaign that is associated with this page. So if it's first home buyer campaign, generally in Yabba, we'll just set a link or a preferred entry page for first home buyers and so on, and we can send to that specific page. And towards the end of this video, I do show you just a few little bits of, I think I show you some stuff that where you might send someone on the back end of, or on the basis of clicking that link. But that is really, really important. Visit website is really, really important, but you don't just send them anywhere. Remember, if they're clicking on that link, they're not converting on your page. Now, in the olden days, everyone used to say, don't have any links anywhere, don't have this, don't have that. And it's certainly true. You don't have a header, you don't have a footer or a proper footer, because that is in no way a big footer. Most people are used to seeing link stacks and banners and logos and awards and all sorts of stuff down the footer. So it's very minimalistic in that sense. So we kind of limit the number of escape routes that a user has from this page. And normally it's just via the visit website button or the home button, but those 2 buttons are going to send someone, a user, to a page that is preordained. It's an important page, right? So it further escalates their experience. It means they didn't convert on this page, right? Again, they're clicking that, if they click on it from the first page, it means they didn't convert. So we need to present them with something else. And I think I do remember recording one of those escape routes, and I think I show that towards the end of this video. Let's move on. So the point here is that footer bar down the bottom, that links towards the form. So if you click on that form there, that button towards the bottom where it says contact us to learn more, that just links back towards the form on the page. That's a default function. You don't have to do anything with that. Again, I've been highly critical of one guy who had at one point 82% of his buttons not working. Even today, I think it's about 30% or something. Like, he's still, there's one particular provider of a digital service that is just grossly incompetent. And at one point, 82% of these buttons didn't work. Absolutely surreal and bizarre that someone can introduce something that is so bad into the market. But we want that bottom bar to stick there, and that's what I'm showing here. So I select that, and then I go over here somewhere, and I click on the motion effects, and I select bottom as the sticky, and that will stick to the bottom of the page. So you'll see that there. I just scroll a little bit up and down. You can see that always sticks to the bottom of the page. Now what we've got is, and I go back to the primary page there, this is not what a landing page looks like. I need to really stress that. This is not what a landing page will look like. All we're looking at is the black bar towards the top and the black bar towards the bottom. I don't want you to think that this is kind of an end result. Although, quite frankly, something like this would convert higher than 95, probably 98% of all the experiences that I've shown you in the last couple of weeks from those ads I've looked at. Remember, minimalistic, if you have one clear value proposition and a form, that's often enough. And that's usually enough to get somebody into the subscription and verify, particularly with this particular product, which is business finance. If you need business finance, you don't want it in 3 days or 5 days. You want it tomorrow. And business finance is, or unsecured business finance is a funny product. It's approved in 4 hours and delivered in less than 24. They're high rates. It's a bizarre product, but it works well, and it's a relatively short-term solution. However, we do use basic landing pages for that purpose. The mistake everybody makes with their landing pages is they start throwing in that garbage I talked about before, about us, about John Smith. They'll say, if you're doing a positioned loan, they'll say, the advantages of, or what are the advantages of a nurse home loan? Why do nurses get better rates? Oh, it just goes on and on and on and on, and that it becomes a web page. And every time somebody scrolls down and reads something, the interest in the actual conversion diminishes. And I will show you how we know that factually, objectively. Like, no one in this industry has more data on this stuff than we do. We've collected it for years. We record every single conversion on every single page. We literally record the screen. We know where mouse clicks are happening and so on. And I'll show you that in a second. So that's kind of a page. I'm just filling out a form here. I don't know why. Non-conforming business form. Remember, we don't want to make it difficult for people. You verify the number. As soon as 10 numbers are entered and it's a valid Australian number, you do that. If you're asking for things like ABNs, property addresses and stuff, you never ask that of people. And you present the submit button when it's all done. Right, that's the purpose of that form. Very simple, straightforward. And I just did a demo there where it links to the top, but it doesn't matter. So I don't know what I'm trying to point out here. Anyway, I think what we do, there we go. This is what it looks like, the footer anyhow, on a mobile device. Now, those black buttons there generally squeeze together a little bit tighter, and they actually change color in most cases. It's a shame I don't have the proper disclaimer in there, because I've been very critical of disclaimers, and I'm an absolute, I'm very anal. I was going to use the Nazi word in regards to the disclaimers, but these days, with all the rhetoric surrounding Trump's presidency, I don't feel comfortable using that term. That's bizarre. But certainly, where were we? There we go. These 4 buttons. I'll just show you quickly. So call us now. You need those. We often use icons with those buttons as well on a mobile device. We won't use them on desktop just because it looks a little bit silly. Now it's these figures down the bottom right that I want you to look at as we bounce around the screen. So have a look what happens. So click, you'll see it bounce around a bit. As I scroll up and down, you'll see scroll percent change value. I'm going to do click again. Okay, click. You'll see X and Y coordinates and so on and so on and so on, and the time of the click. Now, these clicks are sent along to Yabba with the screen resolution and what we call the BMU ID, which is the Believe Media user ID, which is assigned to every single user that visits your website. It's unique to a user, and it never changes, which means we can cross-compare the BMU ID across different brokers. And that's why we're so confident we know that certain brokers are subscribing to multiple experiences from multiple brokers, because we see it in our system. So it's a simple query of the database. But the point is that these figures are recorded for all clicks, mouse movements, it's included in a form. This is really important. I always give step forms grief and say, this is not opinion, it's objective fact, that if you have a stepped form and it does X, Y, Z, your conversions drop off by, X, Y, and Z. Reason I can say that is because we record which panel on a form a user clicks in and whether they continue to the next option. And people will continue for a couple of options. If it doesn't look like there's any end in sight, they'll vacate it. And if you're asking questions that are irrelevant, sometimes they'll fill out 1 or 2 questions and they'll come to a question like, what's your income or something, and they'll vacate. Actually, the number of people that vacate on that specific and that question in particular is quite extraordinary. I don't think we appreciate how reluctant some people are to provide that information. So they won't even lie about it. They just hit the back button. So it's bizarre. But the amount of data we record we've got terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of nothing but this data here. What we do on the basis of this is we create what we call scroll maps and heat maps. So we know where people are clicking on every single individual page, what they're doing, what they're engaging with, what parts of the page are engaged with more often than any other, and how long they spend on each section. Now we break this up. Each page gets broken up into 1,000 squares, I think, maybe 600 squares and 200 squares and 100 squares, so into a grid. And we generate the heat maps around those grids. Around those grids, so we know exactly what a user is doing on the page. And the smaller the grid, the more accurate the data. It's for our purposes really, but certainly the heat maps make it very clear what parts of the page your user engages with more often. If you've got a lot of content from top to bottom, I can tell you now that about 94% of people will just scroll all the way through it. Scroll down and scroll up within about 2 to 3 seconds. And it's probably what you do as well. If you're go on Google something like in-ground pools or solar panels or something on Google, visit 5 or 6 websites, then jump back on Facebook. You'll be presented with a bunch of ads. Click on those ads and review the experience you're presented with, and you'll realize how irrelevant some of this content is. Why Blue Haven pools? The background of Blue Haven, I have no idea what their thing looks like, their landing pages or whatever else look like, and I suspect they're very, very good because they're a big company. But my point is, you don't want to know about why Blue Haven. You don't want to know about the CEO. You don't want to know about their values and all that sort of stuff. You can do that as part of a bullet point and iconography sort of format. We are seeing, since I've started these videos, it's been amazing. I'm seeing people migrate into different ways of doing things, and that includes the form. I've seen people ditch their old forms. So I am having an impact, which is kind of bizarre. Anyway, that data there is one part of the data we collect. We collect about 80 points of data off every single page. That's 80 points. A lot of it we collect once and then only update if it changes. But things like geography, postcode, and country and state and everything, the page, the portion of the page they came from, we record what's called triplets and things. So the page they came from and the page they went to, and we identify triplets as well as pairings, because pairings themselves or 2 pages that group together become could be identified, and you can focus on those. It's performing better than any other. Landing pages are split. This is all done automatically. We don't want people to have to worry about this sort of stuff. Obviously, based on the transaction, we're able to build our own statistics model, which we've done, called Xena. So we measure amazing data like PSR, which is page subscription ratio, PSR, and then PBR, which is a bounce ratio, PER, which is a page engagement ratio, and then FER, which is a form engagement ratio. And we have all this data, and we're able to identify specifically what part of the page is failing. And we design everything we do on the basis of that. But that's not the point of this video. I got carried away. So 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired, you can probably tell. It'd be nice if I can upload this before I collapse. So there's a lot of data that's recorded. It's we don't dwell on our statistics and things like that because it can become quite complicated for a lot of people. So what am I doing here? All right. Okay. What I'm doing here is, I think, okay, I'm on our website. Why am I on our website? Let's wait and see what I do. Oh, here we go. What I initially did is I hit pause when I was recording this thing because I dumped a whole bunch of elements onto the page. And then I thought I can't just dump elements here because that included the widgets, the lender widgets you've got on the page there, and things like the testimonials, video sliders and videos and all sorts of stuff. I just did that as a demo. I thought I can't dump that there because you're going to think that that's what a page is meant to look like. And all I was doing was demonstrating the 65, 70 odd widgets that we make available within Elementor, which is the drag and drop builder. And I wanted to show you how easy it was to build a landing page, including just dragging a form onto the page. However, I do think I dragged that property form onto the page, didn't I? No, it doesn't look like I did. That's a shame, because that's just drag and drop. Everything's just drag and drop. That property form took 1 second. Highest converting form in the industry at the moment is property forms. And ours are great. They're really simple to use. I don't know if I'm going to expand the calendar there or not. Don't know what I'm doing. I was a little bit delusional here. When you select videos and things like that, yeah, so that's not a landing page, guys. It was just used as a template to show you how this drag and drop stuff worked. Okay, I click on the rates page. There's a point to me clicking on the lender data page on our own website. As we enter this page, give it a couple of seconds, and as soon as, 3, 2, 1, and no, there's a modal that'll pop up. And if you go to our website now, you'll see it. I think I set it for 15 seconds or something, 15 seconds after someone loads. Now, this is the important part, and I'll talk about why the modals are important in a second. You'll see I think it's a yellow icon on the screen. The yellow mouse pointer. As it moves off to the right-hand side, at a particular speed, or as it moves up to the top left towards the back button, or as it moves anywhere, in a way that signals exit from that page or shows exit intent, it will launch another modal. I don't remember where I moved this, whether it was to the right or left. Here we go, to the left. Going up to there we go. It's going up to the back button, and it launches that modal again. The point of that showing the modal, and that's just a demo modal, of course, and the modal can take on any shape, form, whatever else. It includes HTML elements. These are not elemental modals. These are our modals, which are conditional in nature. So it shows a modal on the basis of resolved user behavior and borrowing objectives and things like that. It also resolves on the basis of state. So if it's first-time buyer, or if the user is established to be a first-time buyer, we'll show a first-time buyer modal on the basis of their geography, so New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, whatever. The purpose of a modal is they do come in handy on a landing page. You've paid an enormous amount of money to get someone onto a landing page. You want to keep them on that landing page. There are about 14 categories of main users that enter a landing page. One of those categories is just the bounce. People go straight to your page and then bounce back off, right? Because you didn't capture their attention quick enough. If they go back, so if they express their exit intent, we want to show them a modal. I know modals are a pain in the ass. We hate seeing them. But in this case, the user has visited our page. They're established that, hey, this isn't what I'm after. I'm after self-managed super fund borrowing or whatever else, and they've gone to hit the back button. So you can show a modal and provide some options, provide an alternate lead magnet or offer, or provide different type of contact opportunity, or present a calendar, or do any number of things. But we kind of have to prevent them from escaping. It's not an escalation of commitment. In this case, we're trying to develop the onset commitment, if that makes sense. So modals have their place. Modals really, really have their place. And I think the purpose of me recording the lender archive, let's just sort of flick through it, was because it can be a good page to send people that kind of enter your website. They bounce around. You will get more engagement with the lender data panels. Oh, this is important. Remember I said before that every page on your website is an organic entry point. People come from anywhere for a whole bunch of reasons: search, social, referrals, links, cars, QR codes, paid promotion, Google ads, anywhere. There are literally dozens of ways people can arrive at your website. So every page needs to be a type of landing page. While our landing page was very, very focused on the conversion, right? It was conversion focused, minimalistic, and free of distractions. So no headers and sidebars and big footers and all that sort of stuff. Our internal pages, so our standard internal pages, are still pages, but we still need to have that conversion facility there, right? And that's why the internals of our website framework can be, if you have the traffic and if you're clever enough to put video and stuff like that within your site, it can be extraordinary. So we've got a guy at the moment doing a couple of hundred conversions a month on the back of a website. Obviously a very big company, but we've got smaller guys doing, 10 to 20 conversions. We've also got guys doing 1 or 2 conversions. That's because they're not promoting their website in any way. There's no content. There's no, while they might proclaim their commitment to SEO, they actually provide no content or anything like that. And that's fine. You can lean in any number of directions when it comes to traffic, but if you're not going to put any effort into developing a website, you kind of have to lean on paid promotion. But SEO is just the bee's knees because it's all organic and it's free. And for what it's worth, creating the content, is a lot of fun. Create some more videos on that another time. But what we're looking at there is the simple panel. Simple panel is just a form and an asset side by side. The asset can be a video, an image, a Instagram video, or what we call block content, which is kind of something I'm not going to talk about now. More often than not, you'll include a video or an image. And if it's an image, normally it is a 3D book. The important thing here is the calendar, I guess. Let's scroll back to this calendar. I made a mess there, didn't I? Okay, here it is here. Okay, so we've clicked that button and opened the calendar up. It's already got my name, email, and phone number there. Okay, that's because I have previously visited this page. I do not need to submit details again. All the forms on your website, whether it be a fact find report, that non-conforming business report I showed you before, whether it's a event form, whether it's an SMS subscription form, whether it's anything, there are about 15 or 20 different form types. If you have previously engaged with the experience in any way, or you have landed on the website via an email campaign originating from Yabba, those details will automatically populate. And that last point is a really good one because our email marketing system, our Microsoft Outlook integrated email marketing system, which I love, I think it's fantastic at the moment, will feed the website with the user that is visiting your site. So if they've never visited your website before, it'll feed that the website with name, email, phone number, and it'll assign a BMU ID, which will then send to Yabba, and then we track their movements, which sounds really sinister and evil, but we need that in order to optimize the experience. You cannot do anything in this industry without understanding user behavior. So, yeah, we can lean on the psychology of, bouncing around a funnel and all that sort of stuff. But we need to optimize that. We need to actually understand it. We need to see what people are doing. So we evaluate, kind of for any change. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll wait for 20, 30, 40,000 page impressions, and that's usually enough data to garnish some early feedback. In some cases, if it's a conversion-based mechanism, we'll wait for about 2,000 leads usually to convert before we'll make a change, because we want to be sure that the change we introduced actually works. But look, the point is, you've got this calendar, date and time. So you click on and off. It should be noted through Formally that calendar and phone number stuff can be above the want to know obligation discussion stuff. That text is obviously customizable. So when you create Formally, just create a form profile and stick in that stuff above the text there, so it's visible. You see, don't use a toggle. The toggle menu is only so people know that it's not necessary information, because we don't give a rat's ass if they provide a phone number or not. It's not a dedicated landing page. It's not a contact funnel. It's not an appointment funnel. It's just a page where we're giving away a book or a video or something in this case. Don't know what it is. We're giving away nothing because it's a demo website, but you get the point. We're just giving something away on our page, but we want them. This is still top of funnel subscription. It's really no different to a primary funnel, especially a value-based funnel. And we want to feed that person now with a couple of emails and everything else, try and escalate them, remembering that the purpose of a funnel, the purpose of the entire experience, is escalation of commitment. We want to develop them. We want to start having a digital conversation with them. We can apply triggers and all sorts of amazing things. Your conversions will skyrocket if you do this properly. I wouldn't normally use a YouTube video there. I would use a Wistia video, because that way I know how much of the video they've watched, if they watched the whole thing, how long it took them, and so on. You can perhaps include a turnstile in there, so a name and email within the video container itself, in order to proceed if they hadn't previously provided those details. There are so many things you can do, and a really funky, dynamic and gamified digital experience is what's necessary to deliver really high quality leads through your existing and paid web traffic. I think this is lost on most people, because I see people with Wix websites and I think, oh man, you just don't get it. But anyway, moving on. So this is populated from Outlook, by the way. Should have mentioned that. The entire system, our entire system, is integrated with Microsoft 365. So date and time, calendar availability in the right-hand side panel is populated from the available dates within your Outlook calendar. You can block those off and do all those sorts of things. If somebody makes a booking, that booking will be sent directly to that calendar. So what else am I doing here? I think the purpose of showing this is, is this a demo website? All right, I do want to show you this. You need to, this is actually important, I think. Bear with me there. I'll just stop it there. Good on me. Okay, I'll stop it right there. All right. I guess it's really important that I point out that, sure, every page has a lead magnet and a subscription opportunity. At least one lead magnet. You might have 2. You might have 10. Probably not. But you'll certainly have 1. Now, I like these positioned towards the top of the page. Now, some of the feedback I get from our brokers very early on in our customization process is they say, oh, can I move that lead magnet towards the bottom? This applies particularly on the FAQ module. FAQ module's got about 80 or 90 primary FAQs that are built into the website upon delivery. And they say, oh, can I move that down to the bottom? Now, don't hide the conversion facility, because if someone's not interested, they'll just scroll through it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. That's actually quite narrow there. So you'll see in a second the primary video on the archive page. So, oh no, we're going to an individual product page. So individual product pages, this is the same. You know, there's the video by the way, that's assigned in Yabba. This it gets actually really complicated, this archive page. I didn't mean to talk about the archive pages. This was on landing pages, but every page is a landing page, right? But this video is assigned in Yabba. So you can assign the video on the basis of lender or lender group or default. And that's if you choose to assign a video to this page. And I always like it in that position. So that's where I've actually fixed it. And again, that wasn't guesswork. That was determined. I think we looked at about 100,000 page views in order to make that assessment. Initially, we had it a little bit further down. I think between eligibility requirements and costs and fees or something, and the video had like 700 or 800% more engagement if it was towards the top, because it's top of fold. It's part of the primary entry. It's in the viewport area when someone first visits a page. It was a big deal for us when we put the video there, because it is right up the top. Excuse me. I do like lender group based videos, so I will. If I'm doing this as part of a managed program, we normally make, as part of a managed program, that's very different to a standard sort of website product or this new funnels product that we're pushing out. I will create a video for the big four banks. I will create other videos for different types of tiered lenders. I will create specific videos for lenders like Pepper and so on. And I will talk about things like, if on the Pepper page, for example, I'll talk about things like the credit file and your credit score and what it means to borrow with a lender like Pepper and those sorts of things. So it's entirely relevant. Remember, and I say this over and over again, although I'm probably saying it for the first time if you've never seen any of my other videos, is the purpose of a funnel, or at least one of the primary objectives of a funnel, is to retain the attention of a user. And you attract a user and retain attention by delivering relevance and continuing to deliver relevance throughout that funnel journey. And if you do that, you're golden. So when I talk about sort of custom videos on a page, that's often enough to get someone to jump on the blower and give us a call. If the entire website is just entirely relevant to a user all the time, it means that they're not landing on a page sort of wondering what the hell they're doing there. Anyway, it's a whole other topic. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do on this page. Let's have a look. These are just product pages. There's hundreds and hundreds of them. They're updated every day now. PDFs, we always include the PDFs associated with the product. And of course, down the bottom, remembering every page is a type of landing page. So of course, we're going to have a subscription, because there's a subscription, a calendar integrated subscription form on every single page. Now, if you're not a client of ours, I want you to pick 10 random broker websites and try and find that sort of experience where you've got a calendar integrated form on every single page of a website. And I'll tell you, you just won't find it. And it frustrates me that other people don't develop their own tech. We develop everything in-house, every single thing in-house. So this will optionally provide SMS verification as well if you wanted to force a phone number. If you wanted to force a phone number, by the way, you wouldn't put it behind the toggle. You'd drive it towards the top and you'd make a note there it's required and so on. So, it's just a no-brainer. Keeping in mind, by the way, the conditional redirects will optionally apply for every single form on your site. That's determined in Yabba. Our guys will know if you want to assign a form to a specific page on your website. You do that in Yabba. You just select the page in the form. The page in the form, or if it's a simple panel where it's got the form and a conversion asset like a video or an image or content block or whatever else, you simply assign that to a panel location. Again, I'm tripping over my words, guys, and I apologize for that. It's just really late and I'm really tired. But I did want to punch this out really quickly just to really introduce that landing page stuff. Anyway, you can see maybe as you're sitting there, if you've managed to watch this much into the video, maybe you're sitting there going, yeah, that's interesting. I would jump through those pages. And I can tell you categorically, you will multiply your website views by 20 to 30 times at times based on users jumping around these pages. And then the streets module in the back of the website now, which includes about, I think, 18 million pages, which includes all the street data and house data. We do house reviews and or at least street reviews and suburb reviews now. It's shared data, so you share that data across all users. It's the only module where data is shared publicly. All these pages just create engagement. It has people bounce around because that's what you want. We know that the more pages people view on your website, the more likely they are to convert, the more committed they become to the experience. Remember, if we look at the simplified AIDA model, attention, interest, desire, action, that's a kind of nonsense model when it's applied to the digital environment, when it's not sort of a purchase agreement. But we do need to, in practice, garnish the attention of our user, get their interest, create that desire, and then force them is a bad word to take action, but encourage them to take action. I like to lean on the attributes of expertise, authoritativeness, trust. I talk about it all the time. They're the three pillars of Google's SEO, and they form part of our Magic Lantern model, which is sort of the basis of AIDA. And so know, like, trust, and expertise, authoritativeness, the trust, and it's obviously the overlap with the trust. So this sort of content in the back end helps establish your expertise and authoritativeness in the market. If you've got videos there, that further escalates that and further supports that premise. So let's just continue on here. I'm not sure what I'm doing. This is an archive page. You click on a logo, it just takes you to the product page. Remember, there's again, a lead magnet and video, standard calendar stuff as you would expect. When I filmed this, recorded it on my screen recording thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. What button did I just click on? There we go. That's the blog. Okay, if you go down the blog, there's another panel. This is what I'm showing, I think. It's just that every page is a landing page. That's the FAQ module. And the FAQ module down the bottom, of course, you've got another simple panel. And you'll notice you've got side-by-side. Again, that's a simple panel where you've got the form and an asset on the right, but you've also got your standard forms. If you go to the contact page or the appointment page on your website, two pages that are absolutely essential, by the way. You might think, why would I need both? It's because Google looks for both. It looks for contact and appointment. In Google My Business, you're required to supply both of those pages. A lot of people have an external booking link and they link to Calendly. That's a criminal thing to do, guys. Don't treat your don't do that to your website, right? Give your website the love. I've shown you 100 times how people send to an external website and they ask for details all over again. In fact, some people on a landing page, and this is the staple of marketing mediocrity, I think, is when on a second page through a landing page cycle, you fill out a form, sometimes a stepped form, which we've talked about. And then at the end of that, they'll send you to a calendar. Already, just that experience, you've reduced your conversions by 400 to 500%, right? You can increase your conversions, double them by doing a whole bunch of different things. So when some people in your industry say, and it still frustrates me. I heard one guy the other day say the standard industry conversion for leads is 3%. What a load of horseshit. This guy is obviously basing, that statistic on the basis of his own understanding, which is obviously completely flawed, and his own experience, which is obviously very bad. So at the moment, I'm seeing conversions at 35, 37%. I never broadcast that because some guys get conversions at only 15 or 25%, if they've got a really bad experience. Well, not bad experience, but one that isn't optimized. So it just the whole thing anyway, that's digital for you. Let's see what else I did here. Okay, we're just clicking on an FAQ there, of course. I think I'm just showing it. Okay. The FAQ itself is another page, and of course there's a calendar integrated thingy towards the bottom of that page. The point is every single page, guys, requires some sort of conversion facility, whether it's at top or bottom or anywhere else. So, okay, that's kind of the end of this little video. Thank goodness for that. But again, guys, the purpose was just to show you, honestly, the black bar at the top and the black bar at the bottom. I know this video was dragged on for a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Somebody will get something out of it, I'm sure. If you are using Elementor, a few things to point out here. First of all, our new product that we're pushing to market includes that landing page facility. So it includes the black bar at the top, black bar at the bottom. There's a whole bunch of turnkey pages. They're actually submitted by us from Yabba. So when we've got a page for you, we'll just dump it on your website. So we'll pump in the landing page, which includes the calendar integrated and SMS integrated form and the redirects. And if there's a new form, a new landing page we want to send you, we just send it again direct to your website. And then we, excuse me, provide you with the accompanying ads and so on. The new product actually includes a full SMS marketing suite, which is an extraordinary tool for a self-hosted facility like that. We've seen people pay $400 or $500 a month, like just for that tool. You know, just for that tool. We're just throwing that in because we can. So these the creation of a landing page, as is described here, while it's included within our plugin, it's not really necessary, because the idea is you'll never actually have to log into your website to do anything, because your landing pages will just be created by us. We've put a lot of effort into creating an experience that is really, really easy to use and provides genuine returns. Provides returns that exceeds that of competitors by seriously significant margins. It's all their own technology, so 35 points of tech automation, applies on the back end. Really funky features. It's amazing to have. Now, when we ship this product, if you're using WordPress, we give you a licensed version of Elementor. If you're using a non-WordPress website, we've got a sort of a standalone static facility, which works just as well. All we need is access to your database. We throw in a couple of tables, and it's kind of plug and play. If you don't have access to your website, which is the case with many people that have aggregated websites, we just get either a subdomain created, which is less than ideal. You always want something under your root domain, so it contributes towards your SEO and it adds trust and authority to your actual experience. So there are lots and lots of options, but I can state, like, even I've got some more to say about this product, obviously, over coming days and maybe the next week or so, but it is exceptional in the way it performs and functions, particularly since the industry has tolerated mediocrity for so long. So we've worked relentlessly to ensure that we're delivering a product to market that is not some sort of junkyard, the next product that rolls off the production line kind of thing. And you've probably noticed that every single landing page I've shown you is effectively the same. The experience is the same. The forms are the same. The lies are the same. The non-compliance is the same. So obviously we don't provide that. It's not to say that we haven't missed anything, because maybe we have. But, we're very quick to deploy updates and changes. All that is largely irrelevant. Again, guys, use that sticky footer and header. That was the whole point, sticky header and footer. Keep them there because it will improve upon your conversions, right? It just will convert it. Is that right? My timer is saying I've been talking for 58 minutes. Wow, that's insane. If you've listened to this whole video, get in touch with me and I'll send you a Belief Media cap, okay? My name's Martin Curry. I'm just going to leave it there. That's ridiculous. My name's Martin Curry, beliefmedia.com.au. You can call me directly on 0400 777 300, and our office number is 1300 235 433. That's 1300 Belief. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.